bunkmates. So, Rick Riordan has just announced that he is co-writing a new book series with four other writers. The first book is going to be called The Wild Zone, and the co-author is Annabelle O, and that's O-H for the last name, not just the letter O. And for those wondering, the information I'm about to talk about is in an interview where Percy interviews Riggs about the new series. Link will be in the description down below if you haven't checked it out for yourself. In this interview, we know that the series is going to focus on the perspectives of four new campers whose stories we haven't heard before. Now, we have Kate Kim, who is a Korean American and is a daughter of Aries, which means that we're going to see more of Clarice in book 1 of The Wild Stone, so that's exciting. Next is the second book, which will be co-written by Kyle Lukoff. It will focus on Harper Rush, a son of Aphrodite, which, with this series taken in between The Lightning Thief and City of the Monsters, means we'll get to see Selena. And probably Drew as well, which is annoying, but what can you do? Anyway, the third book is going to be co-written by Garcia and will be focused on Zoe Chapman, which, let me just say, what a great last name. Zoe is a daughter of Apollo, and we have our final co-writer, Pablo Carta, and our final camper is Benny Garcia, who is, interestingly enough, unclaimed. So, of course, this has got me, I'm sure many people, wondering, who's Benny's godly parent? Well, Rick gives us an interesting tidbit of information. Quote, I'm just wondering how much I should say, because when he finds out, well, it's a shocker, like a big shocker. Close quote. So clearly, whoever Benny's godly parent is a major, or is of major importance. So obviously, we can rule out major gods like Apollo, Hermes, Athena, Hephaestus, etc. So this means that it's either a minor god or one of the big three. And Rick did say big shocker, so could he be hinting that Benny's parent is Zeus? Because lightning is shocking, get it? Which, it is a possibility. I won't discount it. After all, Jason was him from the world, and we didn't know about him until The Lost Hero. But I feel like Rick really needs to explain why no one at camp would talk about another child of Zeus arriving at camp, even if Benny does dies. Like, Hera surely would bring up another Greek demigod that's a child of Zeus at the same time she's talking about Thalia being born to Zeus, right? I understand her not bringing up Jason because they wanted to keep the Greeks and the Romans separate, but why hide Benny? Which, not for nothing, while all these four characters have death flags on them, Benny's is currently the biggest one of them all. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable about making the assumption that Benny's father is Zeus. So, let's look at the other big three, Poseidon and Ares. I think it's safe to say that Hades isn't Benny's godly parent, because if he had another kid around Percy's time, I feel like Hades would have put that child into the Lotus Hotel, or at the very least taken Nico and Benica out once Benny came to camp. Poseidon, I could actually see working for being Benny's dad. For one, there's a line in Last Olympian where Poseidon talks about sending Percy, his unclaimed siblings, to camp, and it's never clarified if he's joking or not. So, Poseidon could truly have an Archaea besides Percy, and he could have had a half sibling named Benny before he died. Plus, it makes sense why Poseidon wouldn't have told Percy about Benny's fate, because Poseidon doesn't tell Percy about the prophecy until he's older and not want to place that burden on him. So just saying, hey, another sibling of yours died would just be another burden. Okay, so that's the big three. But what about minor gods? Well, I feel like there's only two major important minor gods that we have got to know, those being Nemesis and Hecate. I suppose Nike is also an option, but that doesn't feel as likely to me. So, if it is Hecate, it would be interesting seeing someone who probably has a lot more better control over the mist than Hazel did. Plus, Hecate ends up being on the opposing side, so it'd be an interesting dynamic to have. And while that's cool, I like the idea of Nemesis being the godly parent more because of another thing Rick has stated, that if it wasn't for these four demigods, they wouldn't have won the Second Titan War. And while Nemesis is on the other side, there is an interesting thing regarding Ethan Nakamura. She tells him that he is going to balance Olympus, and his sacrifice in the war is what allows the minor gods to be given the recognition that they deserve. So what if Benny is meant to do the same thing? He helps bring balance to Olympus by bringing a sacrifice to make sure Camp Half-Blood wins the war. Do you see what I mean? It just fits so well with what we know about Nemesis. And there's one more option that would be interesting to see, which would be that Benny is a child of a Titan, which wouldn't be unheard of. We find out in the fourth Trials of Apollo that there is a child of Selene, and Medea herself is the granddaughter of Helios. That would be a shocking twist if that was the case, and it would be very interesting to see how that's played out. But what do you guys think? Is it the obvious answer, Zeus, or do you think it could be someone else like Nemesis or Poseidon? And are you excited for this series? Let me know down below. And until next time, bye!